All right, good morning, traders. Today is August 18th, 2025. My name is John Carignan. I'm the lead instructor here at the BYOB Trading Room. Thank you for being here. Appreciate all of the likes, the comments, the thumbs up, the following. Thank you. Special shout out to Kathy, Sarah Roasted, Bob Jordan, and John Jordan. Thank you for sharing my product or my content. I appreciate that. Thank you for the kind comments. Love those too. Love it all when everyone's following me here on my trading journey. Hey, let's go ahead and look at the plans for today. All right, so my SPY pivot 644. Above it, I'm a bull. Below it, I'm a bear. SPY and diamond down made higher highs and higher lows, closing over bullish traps over their 17 EMAs. FNGU made an inside day, closing over a bullish trap over the 17. SPY closed with a 2-hour uptrend and a 10-minute downtrend. Now, my favorite trade is a 10-minute uptrend inside of a 2-hour uptrend, inside of a daily uptrend, inside of a weekly uptrend, inside of a monthly uptrend. Okay, that's my favorite trade. Just a heads up. Okay. QQQ and IWM made lower highs, lower lows, closing inside bullish traps over their 17 EMAs. Silver still in an uptrend, made a lower high and a lower low, closing under a bullish trap but over the 17. Gold still in a daily downtrend, made an inside day, closing under a bearish trap under the 17 EMA. USO still in a daily downtrend, made a lower low and a lower high, closing under a bearish trap under the 17. UNG made a higher high and a higher low, closing inside a bearish trap under the 17. US dollar index still in that little micro uptrend inside the big bear flag. It's closed near 97.83. SPY max pain 643 with a put to call ratio of about 1 put for each call that expires today at 4:15. Remember, securities options expire at 4. Index options expire at 4:15. Hey, good morning, Scott. All right, let's take a peek at some charts, take a look at the market. All right, so here's SPY on the daily chart. Made a higher high and a higher low, closing over a bullish trap over the rising 17 EMA. Just want to point something out here, okay? Just going to pull up the VZO and going to pull it back. And we're going to look at it on the 2-day. All right, and not quite yet. Well, no, not quite what I was looking for, but you can see on the 2-day VZO, you can see it goes for a series of rallies, and then as soon as it gets underneath this yellow EMA here, that's the 9 exponential moving average, it starts to pull back. Hence, I'll put the crosshairs on those, and you can see there's the pullback inside there. Okay, so now doing the same thing again, and there's the pullback right inside there. Okay, now we're underneath the yellow EMA here, and we didn't quite get a pullback, but we got a flat line right through here, consolidation. Okay, then we had another pullback here underneath the 3 EMA. See this underneath the 3? I'm on the 2-day chart. Okay, now we are underneath the 3 again. Okay, so not sure if we flatline or if we start to pull back. All right, just want to show you that on the VZO. There seems to be a pattern every time it gets underneath the 3 EMA, the 9 EMA here on the 2-day chart. We start to fade back or go flat. So we'll see what happens. Again, we put in on the daily chart, you can see we put in an all-time high right here. That was done on the 13th. Okay, and then when you can see we kind of challenged that high on Friday. We got up as high as 646.09 on Wednesday the 13th. The all-time high is 646.19 right there. Okay, now on the pre-market they got up much higher. They got up to like 647, but you can see not a significant higher high there after this pullback here. So price not looking good, looking like it's ready to roll over or go flat. We'll see what happens, what it wants to do. All right, so there's SPY on the daily chart, and you can see we're already dipping down this morning. So Where would I expect SPY to go this morning? I'm just going to put this right there. 634.43. So probably down to the ADMA. 639 is about 640 right there. I expect probably spike the ADMA. If it gets there early, probably continues on down to 634.43, 634.40, 50. All right, about there. Okay, if it gets to the ADMA early, all right. If it gets there late, then it's probably coming down here the following day. All right, so that's what I'd be looking for today. If price does happen to manifest a 10-minute downtrend, again, 10-minute downtrends are my favorites, and uptrends. 10-minute uptrend is my favorite, really. In this monthly uptrend, weekly uptrend, daily uptrend environment. All right, so there's SPY on the daily chart. Let's take a look at the game plan. And let's zoom in here and let's pull up the 15-minute chart. Okay, so again, 644, that's my pivot this morning. Okay, above 644, we have a green erases red entry over 644.95. We have a red erases green entry underneath 643. Okay, you can see we're already underneath 643. Okay, breaking these lows down here. Okay, so that would be a red erases green entry down there below that 642.55. You can see underneath all of these valleys. See all the valleys that were put in here. Now we'll see if they can. The bulls are going to come in and rescue it. Again, you can see since the 13th, every valley that was put in down here, the bulls came in and rescued it. The bulls came in and rescued it. The bulls came in and rescued it. And the bulls came in and rescued it again yet on Friday. All right, so we'll see what happens. Okay, I'd be prepared for the bulls to come in and rescue it. If I get a rubber band candle break on a 10-minute downtrend, that would be my trigger in for price to come down to that 8 EMA on the daily chart. So there's 15-minute. This is the game plan. All right, again, 644. That's my pivot. Higher. Above it, I'm a bull. Below it, I'm a bear. Okay, you can already see we're in the red erases green below 643. Okay, again, below this 650, 642.55. Underneath that, if I see a 10-minute chart or a 10-minute downtrend with a broken rubber band candle, I would be highly likely or encouraged to play that or to trade that. Okay, I like got a green erases red entry up over 644.95. See that peak up there? So that would be a green erases red if we get up over 644.95. We'll see what happens. The bulls may show up again and rescue the price action like they have the last 5 times. All right. I like 4 DTE Friday options on the multiple of 5, $3 to $15 out of the money. I like 11 DTE days till expiration Friday options on the multiple of 5, $3 to $15 out of the money. I like 10-minute uptrends over VWAP and breaking away from VWAP. I like 10-minute downtrends under VWAP and breaking away from VWAP. If a 10-minute uptrend happens to manifest down here, all right, and it has a broken bullish 10-minute rubber band candle, I will be highly probably tweaked or ready to trade that to the upside, okay? If it happens to manifest long before the green erases red entry way up here, okay? So if it manifests down here, we break the bullish 10-minute rubber band candle, and I'm looking like price is heading back towards VWAP. I will be probably want to trade that down there, okay? Again, and if a red 10-minute down, if our 10-minute downtrend happens to manifest up here, long before it gets to 643, okay, and price has broken the bearish 10-minute rubber band candle, all right, I will probably be wanting to play that or trade that to the downside back to the pivot. All right, so there's the SPY game plan. Let's talk about QQQ. QQQ, same thing. I like 4 days till expiration and 11 days till expiration Friday options on the multiple of 5. I like them that are $3 to $15 out of the money on those strikes. I like 10-minute uptrends over VWAP. I like 10-minute downtrends under VWAP. QQQ pivot for this morning, 577.50. Okay, got a bullish green erases red entry over. Well, they moved it. The correct price is 580.40. Okay, that's a green erases red over 580.40. So let me fix this, because that's okay. That's really where it's supposed to be. All right, and this is supposed to be, this red line is supposed to be down here. Okay, so got a bearish red erases green underneath 576.15. You can see we're already down there. Okay, underneath 576.15 on the bearish red erases green. Okay, so we'll see what happens with QQQ. Let's take a look at QQQ. I haven't even looked at it yet. I've got nothing to report on it, but I do want to take a peek at it. Look at that thing move again. Okay, so you can see things just move around on me without even asking. You would think they stay there, but they don't. All right, let's take a look at the VZO. I just want to see the VZO on the 2-day chart to see if it matches up with kind of what we're seeing on the SPY. Okay, so I'm going to head off to the 2-day chart. Yeah, kind of got the same thing. All right, below the 9 EMA, and they start to have a little pullback. All of these pullbacks in this uptrend have been rescued by the bulls. Okay, that's kind of the reason we got the new all-time highs right up there. Okay, so again, my favorite trade is going to be the 10-minute uptrend. It's going to be the 10-minute uptrend inside a 2-hour uptrend, inside the daily uptrend, inside the weekly uptrend, inside the monthly uptrend. Okay, we'll head back to SPY and we'll take a look at the weekly uptrend here. Okay, so let's take a look at that. Let's go to SPY and let's pick it up on the weekly uptrend. Okay, you can see green dots, 3 on top of the 8. We have a weekly uptrend still intact. Okay, on the daily chart, you can see we've got 3 on top of the 8 and the green dots. You can see we have a daily uptrend still intact. On the 2-hour, 2 hours kind of flaky here. Let's take this off, don't need it. Take this off, don't need it. And remove this. If I can get a hold of it. There we go. Okay, so the 2 hours kind of closing out here on the 2-hour, but still in a 2-hour uptrend on SPY. So looking for that 10-minute uptrend to manifest sometime today. May not, all right? It just may not. I'm looking at the pattern on the 2-day, and I do see a pullback or a flat line coming for us. So we'll see what happens with that. On the monthly, you can see still in an uptrend, got the 3 on top of the 8. And we've got green dots underneath, okay? And KJ said he got a TC2000 subscription. Congratulations, KJ. Thank you. Craig says, if we drop before 644, I think the bears are going to go on a huge run. If we drop before 644, okay, we're already below it. All right, we're already dropping below it. All right, we'll see where we open up, right? So we'll see what happens. So there's SPY. Thanks for joining us, Craig. All right, and take a look at QQQ. Already went with QQQ. You can see QQQ a little bit different from SPY. QQQ on the daily chart. Okay, lower high, lower low, closing inside a bearish trap under the 17. If we look at this with its quad lines, okay, you're still up there in quadrant 4. That's bullish up there. Okay, same as SPY. Okay, that's bullish up there. Put the quad lines on there for you. Okay, that's bullish up there, and you're still in an uptrend. So SPY bullish, still in an uptrend. Okay, QQQ bullish and still in an uptrend. Let me point out Diamond Dow. All right, Diamond Dow, believe it or not, put in a new all-time high on Friday. Okay, drop the mic. There's nothing else to say. It doesn't get any better than that unless it closes at the end of the day at the high of the day. Okay, Diamond Dow, new all-time high. Again, in an uptrend, bullish at the top of quadrant 4. Okay, see the 3 on top of the 8. All right, on top of the 17 EMA. That's those green dots right there. So there's Diamond Dow. Let's take a look at IWM. Okay, IWM put in, pretty sure that was a lower high and a lower low. It looks like a lower high and a lower low. Let me see what I got here for IWM in my notes. QQQ and IWM made lower highs and lower lows. Okay, so QQQ made lower high, and IWM lower high, lower low, closing inside a bear bullish trap over the 17 EMA. Now, IWM up here in the quadrant 4, that's bullish and still in an uptrend right there. Okay, hasn't made any lower lows, so bullish and still in an uptrend up there at the top of quadrant 4. Okay, anytime you're in the upper third, that's still bullish for me. All right, last one, FNGU. Okay, FNGU yesterday made a inside day. That's Thursday. That's Friday. Lower high, higher low, closing over a bullish trap over the 17 EMA. So it's possible the bulls show up and rescue price today. We'll see what happens. FNGU. It's all up to the big cap stocks, really. Okay, so FNGU at the top of quadrant 4. That's bullish and still in an uptrend. Okay. Nope, still in a downtrend. Technically in a downtrend, that's not working. Okay, you see they got a low here. They made a lower low. So that's a downtrend that's not working. Okay, downtrend but not moving down. They broke this low and they've been moving up ever since. All right, let's take a look at a few of the commodities. Let's take a look at USO. All right, USO in a downtrend. All right, but just neutral. Again, price action goes up, gives it up. Price action goes up, gives it up. So it's neutral and in a downtrend because they got a low here and they made a lower low. When is the quad set for a pullback? I don't understand, KJ. It's I when I fan out the quad lines, I do the highs and lows for the 2025 session. All right, from the highs to the low in that. When in quad 4 will it pull back? On, you talking about SPY? When will it pull back? Well, it's kind of scheduled to pull back if we follow the pattern set here by the VZO. Okay. All right. See this? See how every time it gets below the 9 EMA here, we have a pullback, okay? Below the 9 EMA, see right here? A pullback. Now this time, it got below the 9 EMA, but we flatlined, all right? Notice each time the bulls came in and rescued it, all right? So, and then here, below the 9 EMA, and we had that pullback to 620 right there. Okay, so on the 2-day, we are below the 9 EMA one more time, right here. Okay, and hence this morning, we're below 642. Okay, so that would be the bottom of all of the consolidation that we have seen so far. Okay, see all of this, consolidation over to the left. Okay, we're below that. Now notice each time, for 5 times, bulls came in and rescued the price. Okay, so when will it drop down? When will price drop down? Well, when the bulls decide they're not going to rescue it anymore. How do you see it? What is the resistance? The resistance is basically the 650 whole number. Okay, they keep attacking in that direction. And I think you got a lot of people that recognize 650 is the big fat whole round number, and they've just decided, I'm not going to wait till 650. I'm going to take my profits now. I'm not going to wait till we get to 649 or 648 or even 650. I think I want some profits now. So we're experiencing some resistance in the 650 zone as we speak. Remember, we're up here. We're building a launch pad right now. Okay? So we'll see. We'll see what happens. We're up there at the top of quadrant 4. Again, that's very bullish up there. So there's SPY on the 15-minute chart. All right, let's take a look at a few other commodities. Back here, let's go back to the daily chart. Let's go to the scratch, and we take a look at USO. Let's take a look at UNG. All right, UNG, bear in mind, about 4 days ago, put in a new all-time low for UNG, all right? It's in a downtrend, okay? You can obviously see with the red dots, and the 3 is underneath the 8 on the daily chart. Yesterday, Friday's candle, higher low, higher high, closing inside a bearish trap, but under the falling 17 EMA. If we back out, this is quadrant 1. That's bearish. All right, and in a downtrend. Let's take a look at gold. Gold's a big commodity. People follow that. Still, again, holding over the $300 mark. Okay, gold is still in a downtrend. Okay, they made a low. See this low? They made a lower low, so they're still in a downtrend. But get this, they're not moving down. Okay, you can see they moved up. All right, right now they're starting to pull back again. Yesterday's Friday's candle looks like an inside day, so that's a lower high and a higher low, closing under a bearish trap under the 17 EMA. Okay, but on top of the all-time high anchored VWAP. Silver is in an uptrend, okay, and up here in quadrant 4, just like gold. Okay, consolidating up here in quadrant 4, just like gold. Okay, silver lower high, lower low, closing under a bullish trap, but over the 17 EMA right there. Okay, take a look at our technicals. T2122. Again, Friday we made lower highs. We did not make lower lows. Okay, lots of little micro lower highs right there, and did not make a lower low on Friday. We'll see. Maybe that's coming. Maybe that's coming today. Okay, that's a lot of consolidation right through there. And hence, you look at SPY, you can see it goes flat right over 642. Let's take a look at T2123. T2123 still in an uptrend. Okay, they gapped up, and obviously the bears filled the gap. So you can see, again, the consolidation from the gap up and over to the right. So they're building out a launch pad there. And we're up over the 200 SMA, right up here. So up over the 200 SMA, that is bullish. Okay, this is all our small cap and mid caps. Okay, we're dealing with price action over to the left. So 15-minute chart is still in an uptrend. So we could get rescued today because FNGU had not a horrible day, but they did hold the higher ground. T2123 has held the higher ground. Okay, we do have on that 2-day volume zone oscillator looking like we got a pullback scheduled. We'll see what happens. Again, that's why I'm going to wait for that bearish 10-minute rubber band candle to break, okay? Because the bulls could come in and rescue it. All right, and they could come in and rescue it right after it breaks. We'll see what happens. So this is T2123 15-minute chart. Let's take a look at the 3-bar chart. Again, you can see we're all the way up here at top of quadrant 4. That is bullish. We're up over the 200 SMA. That is bullish. We're still making higher lows and higher highs on the bigger time frame. That's also bullish. And we're still in an uptrend. Okay? So there's T2123. Let's take a look at FNGU. Okay? So FNGU, all right, up and over to the right. Okay, whenever price structure, okay, when you get your price structure and you map it out, like what's it doing? It's going up and over to the right. Okay, that's like, I don't know how many of you guys did, maybe some military guys out there that had to do some planks. That's like planking for 3 or 4 days straight. Okay, takes an incredible amount of strength to plank for 3-4 days straight. Okay, you can see price moves up and planks. Okay, it holds the higher ground. That is a bullish environment. That is a bullish characteristic. That is a bullish behavior. When price goes up and gives it up, like you saw there in USO, that is a neutral behavior. Okay, if it goes up, gives it up, and more, that's bearish. Okay, right now we're bullish in behavior. All right, we are pulling back to the bottom of the base one more time for the 6th time. Not sure if we're going to break below it. We'll see what happens, what they have in store for us today. So that's FNGU on the 15-minute chart. Okay, technically, yeah, they're in a downtrend. All right, right here, because see, here's a low underneath the 17. They made a lower low. Okay, so technically, they're in a downtrend. But look at the price structure. Okay, it is up and over to the right. That's a bullish behavior. Okay, and they're still up on top of the 200 SMA. All right, so we'll see what happens today. So there's some. Let's take a look at the economic package, and we'll wrap this up. All right, don't need that quite yet. All right, economic package is right here. All right, on the dollar. Okay, the dollar's still in a downtrend. Okay, dollar's down there at 2022 lows. Okay, so here's price. All of these valleys right here, those are all major support when you're up here above it. Okay, all of these valleys. Okay, that come down here. Okay, now you can see we went up. Okay, and we broke major support. Okay, because we came tumbling down. All right, and then we went back up to test it, and then we came down and made a lower low. Okay, that's where we're at right now. So currently, this will now be minor resistance. Just because we broke major support does not mean it makes this major resistance. Major resistance is going to be up here. That would be the peaks of all of this consolidation. Okay, so it's going to be up there. Right now, dollar is in an uptrend. So it's in a little baby uptrend inside of this bear flag. All right, so I'm going to take all that off, and you can see the bear flag. So there's the major support that broke, and you can see price comes down and moves over to the right. Not very clean, but you can see it still has not broke above minor resistance right there. So we're in a bear flag with a daily uptrend. So let's drill down and see what's going on. Now we like a weak dollar. Okay, the reason we like a weak dollar, well, the consumer in us does not like a weak dollar. Okay, but the investor in us likes the weak dollar. Okay, the consumer in us hates the weak dollar because it makes all of our goods and services more expensive. Okay, whether we do it through higher prices, okay, or sometimes tariffs will do it. Okay, either one, whether it's artificial with tariffs, or whether it's like homegrown, all right, all natural, organic, all right, either way, okay, we don't like, the consumer on us does not like higher prices. We don't like to pay more for our goods and services. But the investor in us, all right, likes a weak dollar because it makes our goods and services more affordable, okay, in foreign countries. It opens up new markets, okay? Anytime the conversion rate becomes more affordable for these countries to buy our goods and services, okay, that opens up new markets, hence higher GDP, that's gross domestic product, okay, that's more revenue coming in for the companies, okay, more revenue equals more earnings equals, more revenue equals more profits most of the times, and more profits equals more earnings. Of course, more earnings equals a higher share price. Okay, so we like a weak dollar. Hence, in the last this year, we've gotten a big pop in market share price. All right, for a lot of securities, because that's what inflation does. All right, inflation. We hate inflation, just like we hate a weak dollar as a consumer. We hate inflation, but the investor in us likes inflation, because that means all the goods and services that we sell, all right, for a higher price point, okay, means more revenue coming into the company's top line. And hence, if management's got its act together, a lot of that should transcend down to the profit line. That would be the net profit. Okay? So you got the revenue coming in high. Now the profits are coming in high. And now you've got earnings, all right, increasing, okay, on year over year, month over month basis, because we've got more profits being manufactured. Okay? That's if management's got its act together. Okay, so that's why we watch the dollar. Okay, the dollar's in an uptrend. Okay, we got a low right here, a market. Okay, we had a previous low there, so we got a higher low. Okay, there's a high, and we made a higher high. Okay, now we're in a pullback in this uptrend. If the dollar takes out this low right here, okay, they will have broken the uptrend. Okay, if they take out that low right there. All right, other than that, they will stay in an uptrend until they take out that low, or they take out that low if they make a run back up to the top. If they make another valley right here and then can't make it over this and then return below this low, that will be a break of the uptrend by making a lower low. All right, so there's the dollar. All right, let's take a peek at max pain for SPY today. These are just for the SPY options. 643 is supposedly max pain. Put to call ratio is about 1 put for each call that expires today. On the earnings calendar, we got Palo Alto Networks. That's tech, so that's going to be in the evening. 115 billion. And some more familiar names, but nothing that's going to move the markets. Tuesday, Home Depot, 397 billion. They're going to report retail on Tuesday morning. Medtronic, more retail, 119 billion. They're going to report in the morning, okay, on Tuesday. Wednesday, we got TJX companies. Okay, that's 148 billion. They're going to report in the morning. Lowe's, 141 billion in the morning on Wednesday. Analog devices, 117 billion in the morning on Wednesday. Thursday, Walmart, $750 billion. Okay, that's going to be a headliner. That's going to probably be one of the main events for this week. Is Thursday morning. Walmart reporting $378 billion on Thursday morning. On Friday, again, more familiar names, but nothing that's going to move the market. So far, Thursday is our main event for this week on the economic calendar. Nothing happening today. Tomorrow, we're going to get NFIB Small Business Optimism Index, okay, at 6 o'clock in the morning. CPI is coming out at 8:30. That'll be a headliner. That's the main event this week, right here, CPI. All right. We have had some reports of, tariffs making an impact on consumers. And these are tariffs from other countries. So we'll see what happens. And then on Wednesday, look like really light day. Okay, we've got NBA mortgage applications at 7 and a petroleum report at 10:30. Okay, and nothing else there. and I'll hit Thursday and Friday later on. I don't see anything really mainly headliner. Okay, the big thing is CPI on Tuesday, and on Thursday morning we got Walmart reporting. All right, so Walmart reports. These are our main events. Walmart reporting on Thursday morning. That's for retail. CPI 8:30 tomorrow morning. All right, so we'll see what happens. All right, that's it for me for this morning. All right, let's meet up here in about 45 minutes. Let me get this video rendered, get it out there, everybody in podcast land. Powell speaks at Jackson Hole on Friday. They haven't got it scheduled yet, but I'm sure they will put it on as we get closer to that date. All right. And Craig says, is the VZO a standard indicator? I have not seen the VZO as a standard indicator. It is for TC2000, but I have not seen it on TOS. I have not seen it on TraderView. I have not seen it on some of the others. So I don't think so. Thank you, Jim. Thank you, everybody. I will see you all in about 45 minutes. All right? Thank you.